The wall dog, all creepy looking. It's just I don't know where my light is, my normal light, so I got this. Use my other phone as a light, so I'm all creepy. Apologize. It's the wall dog, the flippin' flippin' dude, holy vampire. Um, got off work, tired. Uh, been kind of just chilling, kind of stressed out a bit. Had kind of a I guess I'll talk about it. Like it's not too big a deal, but I realized that I've still got some bad memories from the military that kind of haunt me. Uh, I think that in the future I need to be more careful with talking about those kind of things because it affects me. Uh, that's about it. I'm, I'm glad that I've got tomorrow off. Like I know that I'm kind of frustrated with myself because like when I was younger, I'll talk about this. When I was younger, uh, I was 13 years old, about, and I was talking about, I was praying. I remember praying because I lost my mom, and I felt like it reminds me of this because I've been praying a lot recently, and I kind of had a spiritual moment where I felt like God was listening, but I didn't get what I wanted. You know, I was praying for my mom. I was praying. I don't remember exactly what I said. You know, I was 13, but you know, I've been praying for help and just kind of you know giving things over to God. And as a result of that, I realized that you know part of me is I guess more vulnerable. Is the right word, and I need to be more aware of that. So, but I remember a few days ago, I was you know part of my prayer to God was I realized that I needed to let go of things. And I'm familiar with the process of growth and development. That in the process of letting things go, you know, it's not easy. It's therapy, and but you know, I want to do it because I don't. I don't want to rely on things that are. I want to say like not permanent. Like I want to rely on a higher power rather than myself and my. I just had a frustration with my own ego. I suppose is a way of saying it. It's not quite accurate, but I just want to let things go, basically. And it's more complicated than that, but I'm not. I'm not gonna. I'm not. Like I've already spent a lot of time in decision making with dissecting my feelings, and I came to the conclusion after a lot of thinking that believing and devoting my life to more spirituality and faith in God is the right choice. But with that comes change, and with that comes vulnerability and honesty. So I'm pretty tough, and just need to take it easy. I do want to talk about just briefly about the military trauma that really does bother me. Uh, Never mind. Never mind. Don't want to. Just want to relax. I don't think I've got the. I wouldn't normal. This isn't something I would normally say, uh, but with me wanting to change, I'll admit that I don't want to. I should say I don't have the mental strength right now to think about certain things that are difficult for me. So I don't like saying that, but it's true. And I'm okay with saying it right now. I would definitely not be okay with saying that a few weeks ago. But it comes with my increase in prayer and vulnerability. So I don't feel bad about saying that. I've got, or should I say, I don't want to, or don't think that I have the energy right now to think about certain things. Don't feel bad about saying that. So I know it's part of a bigger process. I know what I'm going through right now is part of a bigger process, and I'm committed to becoming a better person. But I realize that with the vulnerability and with the exposure of development, it's a process. And even though I may be a vampire, even though I may be a so-called superhero or an alpha male, I'm not stuck on that like I would have been in the past. It's like, oh, you know, this, and that. Like, nah, I mean, all those things are cool, but you, you know, I'm focusing on God, and it takes away from my well, it definitely changes my identity, changes how I see things, and for the better. I don't feel anger or resentment for any kind of any of those things. I just feel like I would feel anger and resentment towards myself. I would have in the past, but I don't. It's like my body and my soul, my mind is just not hung up on that. And that's what I want. I don't want to be hung up on my ego. I've said that in many videos in the past. So I know I'm making progress. I've made a lot of progress. But yeah. Because like when it comes down to it, I realize as a person, as a father, potential father, as a person who is developing, and as a leader, it's never good to be hung up on things. Like I could see how it can be in certain circumstances, but to be able to feel those feelings when it's necessary, but never to be hung up on it. And I think that's what was frustrating me so much is the not so much the acceptance, but the lack of letting go. And and it's making me think about when I first started to decide when I was making the decision process of what I had to do to let things go. To achieve greater heights, and the heights that I want to achieve. I can't do it alone. Can't do it without God and a trying to find the right word, a stronger apprentice apprenticeship um, to God, because that's what it is. It's in a way, in an abstract way for me, it's finding a greater teacher or another teacher. Because it's the right thing to do. And I'm definitely humbled. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing as an adult. Good thing as a holy vampire. Humility in general doesn't come easy. Particularly when you get hung up on things, whatever it may be. So, yeah. Like, I want to say that I made mistakes today, but at the same time, I want to say that I'm definitely a work in progress. I know I'm not alone in that feeling. No, most people feel like that. Even if they do, even if most people tend to get hung up on things. So, still trying my best in certain areas of my life. But I definitely need to get some rest. And as much as I am talking about myself, I'm really thinking about other people. I just am not talking about other people. But I do think a lot about people in certain ways at certain times. And my obsession, if I was to have an obsession, this is another thing that I also made the conclusion is that any form of obsession, whether it be over people or whatever, it's easy for me. It's easier for me, should I say, because I'm a vampire and I can go numb, or an alpha male, and I don't chase. Um, but I still have the should I say, I realized that one of my flaws was the fact that I was getting hung up on things and still finding myself um, embarrassingly obsessing at times over things. It could be music, it could be different things. And that's why I chose to um, practice my faith stronger and to what I wanted to say is that if I'm going to obsess over anything, it's going to be over. I'm going to obsess about God. But that's not the right word, not the right language. It's to focus on God to remove my obsession or any tendencies of that nature. And I know that's part of being human, but it's not the type of mentality that I deserve. Or should I say that I should uh, role model as a so-called holy vampire. So, but I feel good as far as spirituality. Make mistakes, made mistakes today. Things, behavior, but just try to do better tomorrow. And yeah, that's about it. I appreciate y'all for watching. Let me talk. These videos are really helpful, and it's not always these videos. I know I got some. I was talking about subscribers and people, talking to different people today, trying to grow this channel, spreading positive awareness of nice vampires and bridging communication and talking about growth and development. And sometimes just funny stuff. But but yeah, I want to say that it's not always. I'm not always. Not sure what the right word is, but I suppose it's the only word I can think of is not. It's not always so serious. And I realize I've been certain areas of my life, I've been hung up on certain things and taking it too seriously. But anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and get going, get some rest. So I appreciate y'all for watching, and thanks for letting me talk. All right, I'll talk to you later.